Why I will go with Python programming language? Because it is platform independent or platform neutral programming language. Python can also used for rapid prototyping. Python has syntax that allows developer to write program with fewer lines than some other programming language. Hello to all, a warm welcome to my new session. I am your Revathi ma'am, faculty from the Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Anyway, dear student, in my last session, I started with introduction about Python programming and how many units we have in this subject and which textbook we have to refer, all those things we studied in my last session. But in my today's session, I'm going to deal with what is Python programming and what can Python do. Along with that, why we have to select Python and Python application as well as Python history. Anyway, dear student, if I consider programming language, we have different kinds of programming language. For example, high-level programming language, low-level programming language, and middle-level programming language. And if I consider Python is example for high-level general purpose programming language, and it's also example for object-oriented programming language. And why we have to study Python programming? Because it is very easy to study and it does not include much syntax and it's exactly like English language. For that reason, it's very easy to study Python programming other than programming language. Now, if I consider Python programming language, then this is example for object-oriented programming language as well as high-level general-purpose programming language, and it is popularly used programming language. And who is the father of Python? That is none other than Guido van Rossum. I repeat, Guido van Rossum. And this programming language was released in the year 1991 and it comes under Python Software Foundation. Now, why I want Python programming language and where I am going to use Python programming language. So here, if I want to develop any web development, especially server-side application, then I'll go with the Python programming. Then what about server-side? The application which is going to run in the server, so that is known as server side. And to develop all the web application which run in server side, in that situation I require Python programming. And see here, if I want to develop any kind of software applications, once again, I will go with Python. Why I will go with Python programming language? Because it is platform independent or platform neutral programming language. Then what is the meaning of platform independent? Whatever the program I'm going to write by using Python programming language, that same code I can able to run in different platform. Here example for platforms are Windows operating system, Unix, Linux or Mac OS. So for that reason, it's also used to develop software application. And to simplify mathematical models, to design mathematical models, once again we are going to use Python. Along with that, to prepare system scripting, we are going to use Python. So here Python is simple programming language and popular programming language, and it's also example for high level programming language and object-oriented programming language, and it was developed in the year 1991 by Guido van Rossum. Okay, these are the certain points you have to remember. Now, if I consider what can Python do? In the sense what? What are the things Python can able to include or do? Okay, fine. See here. Python can be used on server to create web application. So dear student, what is web application? Okay, fine. If I consider Python, it's mainly used to create the application which is going to run on server side or run on server. Okay, so to develop those kind of application, I'm going to prefer Python programming language. And if I consider web application, I can able to run the web application at the server side or at the client side. But especially to design the application which is going to run on server, we are going to use Python. Python can be used alongside software to create workflow. Okay, fine. What is workflow here? Suppose if I want to achieve any task, I must do certain small task. For example, think that I want to prepare practical exam timetable. Okay, and I want to conduct the practical exam. Okay, my intention is to conduct practical exam. Is it possible to conduct practical exam directly? No. Then what I want to do? I want to perform small task here. What kind of task I want to perform here? First, I want to collect the student register number. After collecting student register number, I want to select the date. In which date I can able to conduct practical exam. Okay, fine. If the date is free and if the lab is free, fine. What I will do? I'm going to prepare the timetable. So this is one kind of work. After preparing timetable, what I'm going to do? I'm going to send that practical timetable to the university for further proceedings. In the sense, for further approval. If I get the approval, then what I'm going to do? I'm going to generate the hall ticket. Once the hall ticket is generated, then what's my next procedure? Is to distribute the hall ticket. After that, in that particular day, I'm going to conduct the practical exam. See, to conduct practical exam, how many works I want to carry out? Similarly, if I want to complete any task or any work, I want to carried out small work. And to carry out those kind of work, what I will do? I'm going to use Python. Okay, fine. So Python can be used alongside software to create workflow. It's mainly used to create workflow. Okay, fine. Python can connect database system. Python is used to connect the database system. So what is data? Data is nothing but the raw fact. Then what about database? Database is nothing but the collection of data. And to manage these collection of data, I must have some procedure or some system. For that, I'm going to have the software, and that is known as database management system. Okay, by using Python, we can able to connect the databases, and it's also used to handle big data. So what is big data? As the name itself indicates that the size of the data is very large or very massive. Okay, now to handle different types of data, for example, structured data, unstructured data or semi-structured data, I'm going to use Python. Okay, by using Python, I can able to handle large amount of data. That's nothing but the big data. Python can also used for rapid prototyping. Okay, fine. If I want to design and develop any software, what I will do? I'm going to select the prototype, and to design those kind of prototype, what I will do? I'm going to use Python programming language. Okay, fine. Then why I want Python? Because I have other programming languages, right? Like C, C++, Java, .NET, etc. Okay, fine. But still, why I will go with the Python? See here, Python works on different platforms. So what is the very important feature of Python here? That is platform independent. So dear student, if I consider Java is also example for platform independent programming language. Similarly, Python is also example for platform independent programming language. Then what's the meaning of platform independent? Independently, it is possible to run the program or run the application. For example, think that I have Windows operating system and I have Linux operating system and I have Unix operating system and I have Mac operating system. So what I will do, initially I'm going to write the program for Windows operating system. After that, I'm going to copy that program and I'm going to run same program on Linux operating system as well as Unix operating system as well as in my Mac OS. So Python works on different platforms. For example, Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac OS, etc. Python has a simple syntax similar to English language. So dear student, if I consider Python programming language, I don't want to follow much of syntax. For example, if I consider C program or C++, okay, I want to follow the syntax. How I'm going to follow the syntax? For example, if I write for loop, okay, and I have multiple statements in my for loop, what I'm going to do? I'm going to include those multiple statements within flower bracket. See, I want to follow the syntax here. That is, I'm going to write multiple statements inside the flower bracket. But in Python, I don't want to follow the syntax and I just want to follow the indentation. So what is indentation? Indentation is nothing but block of code. Okay, and when the particular condition is true, how many lines I want to execute and I want to align that statement one by one, and that's known as indentation. Okay, so indentation is nothing but it tells the interpreter that okay, from where the block is going to start and where the block is going to end. So here Python has a simple syntax similar to the English language. So Python programming language is similar to our English. Okay, it does not include much syntax. Python has syntax that allows developer to write program with fewer lines than some other programming language. See here, why Python is called simple programming language. Okay, fine. Let me to write the example here. Think that I want to say hi, and for that I want to write the program. And which programming language I'm going to use here? That is none other than C programming language. So I'll start with hash include. Okay, fine. After that, stdio.h. Then I'll start with the main program. So I'll write void main. Okay, then flower bracket printf hello. Okay, fine. See, how many lines I have? Total 5 lines, and I want to follow the syntax. So I have structure of the program. So I want to include header file at the beginning. Then I want to include the main function. See, I want to follow the structure here. Okay, I want to follow the syntax. But if I write same code in Python, I just required only one line, that is print hello. See the difference. Okay, for that reason it is called simple programming language, and it looks like exactly English language. Okay, so here Python has syntax that allows developer to write the program with few lines. See, if I consider C programming, how many lines I have? Total 5 lines. If I translate same program to Python, how many lines? I have only one line. Python runs on an interpreted system or interpreter system. Okay, fine. If I consider programming language, either it is compiled programming language or interpreted programming language. Okay, fine. If I consider C programming, it is compiled. And if I consider Java, it is both. In the sense what? It is compiled as well as interpreted programming language. But whereas Python falls under interpreted programming language. So it is interpreted system, meaning that the code can be executed as soon as it is written. In the sense what? When I start writing the program and when I finish the program, at the same time I'm going to execute the program, and that is known as interpreted system. So this means that prototyping can be very quickly. So execution of the program is very quickly. So it is interpreted programming language. Python can be treated in a procedural way. Okay, fine. Anyway, dear student, you already studied C programming. C programming comes under procedural programming language. So what is procedural programming language? The complex tasks are divided into smaller subgroup, and that is known as function or procedure. Here also, I can able to divide the complex problem into smaller group and find the solution for that smaller group, then combine the module together. So here, Python is also example for procedural programming language, and it's also example for object-oriented programming language. Okay, fine. Then what are the applications of Python? In which field we can able to use Python? See here, as we know that Python programming language is case sensitive. So what is case sensitive? Uppercase letters and lowercase letters both are different. At the same time, Python is also example for platform neutral programming language, and it is portable programming language. Now this programming language is used to develop different kinds of application, and those applications are categorized into web development. So what is web development? Okay, fine. When we hear the word web, what are the things we have to remember? That is www. It is a worldwide repository. What it includes? It includes web pages as well as website. Okay, to design web applications, especially server-side application, we are going to use Python. And we also use Python to develop games. We have many simulation games, right? To design game app, okay, we are going to use Python. And this Python is especially used in the fields like machine learning and artificial intelligence. To design any module which is related to the machine learning as well as artificial intelligence, we are going to use Python. And it is also used in the field of data science and data visualization. So what is data science? Extracting meaningful information, okay, from the given data set. Okay, fine. Now, then what is data visualization? Represent the data in terms of graphs. Okay, I don't want the data in the form of text. Okay, what I want the data in the form of chart. In that situation, I'll go with Python. So Python is mainly used in the fields like data science as well as data virtualization. And to develop attractive graphical user interface, especially desktop graphical user interface, we are going to use Python. And it's also used in web scraping application, business application, to design and develop audio and video application. And see here, CAD, computer aided designing, we use Python. And to design embedded application, we are going to use Python programming language. So these are the certain fields where we can able to use Python programming language. Okay, fine. If I consider the history about Python programming language, see here, Python was introduced or came into the picture in the year 1980. Okay, it came into the picture in the year 1980. Okay, the implementation of Python was started in December 1989 by Guido van Rossum, where Netherlands. Okay, fine. In February 1991, Guido van Rossum published the code. Okay, what is the version it is? Version 0.9.0. And in the year 1994, Python 1 was released with new features like lambda, map, filter and reduce. So dear student, Python is mainly used to develop mathematical application. So it is mathematical application, right? Then what I required? I required mathematical related components, right? So here lambda, map. Okay, fine. Then Python 2 added new features like list, comparison, garbage collection system, etc. So dear student, we have Python 2.0. It includes the features like list, garbage collection, etc. If I consider programming language, we have arrays. So what is array? Array is nothing but a collection of homogeneous element. So what is the homogeneous element? Same kind of element. But in Python, we can able to store ordered collection of element or unordered collection of element. Okay, for that we have list. And to manage the memory allocation, we have garbage collection system in Python. Now, on December 3, 2008, Python 3.0 was released, and it's also called by the name PY3K. It was designed to rectify the fundamental flaw of the language. So dear student, here Python 3.0 was introduced and it is designed to rectify the fundamental flaw of programming language. And if I consider ABC, anybody can programming language is said to be the preprocessor of Python programming language. Okay, before Python programming language, what's the base for Python programming language? That is nothing but the ABC programming language. So this is all about history of Python. So dear student, what are the things you have to remember here? Python is example for general purpose, high level, object-oriented programming language, and it is introduced in the year 1991 by Guido van Rossum. Because of its simplicity, okay, most of the time we are going to use Python programming language. It follows very few syntax and the programming style is very easy. It is similar to English. And it is platform neutral, portable programming language. Along with that, I have discussed where we can have Python, in which area we can able to use Python programming language. Anyway, dear student, in my next session, I'm going to deal with the features of Python. Until that, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.